And hello there, my little mathematicians. We are going to practice reviewing, adding, subtracting, and multiplying mixed numbers. So if you could please follow along on C-62, that would be great. Okay, I'm just going to help you get started on these. So let's go ahead and first of all take a look at number 9. Whenever you're showing work on a separate sheet of paper, please label it and then also number each problem that you do. 4 2/3 plus 1 4/5. When you're adding, you need to get a common denominator. So what can 3 and 5 both become? They can both become 15. Well, 3 times what was 15? 5. So do the same thing on top. 2 times 5 is 10. You can do that because 10/15 reduces to 2/3. Because I essentially only multiplied it by 1. Any number over itself is 1. So 2/3 times 1 is still 2/3. I just renamed it as 10/15. All right, what did you multiply the 5 by to become 15? A 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. Now that you have a same denominator of 15, you keep that the same and you can combine the numerators. 10 plus 12 is 22. Don't forget to add those whole numbers in front. 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, and it helps if sometimes before you even start, you're like 4 plus 1 is 5. So this should be 5 and something, maybe even 6. So like 5-ish should be your answer. And then that will help you remember if you just get 22 over 15, you're like, wait a minute, that can't be right. And then you'll remember to add those whole numbers. Okay, now I'm actually not done because 22/15 is an improper fraction, meaning the top is bigger than the denominator. So I need to fix that. You do that by taking the top number and dividing it by the bottom number. Top divided by bottom. So top dog goes in the house or in and out. Okay, in and out, in and out. Inside the house, outside the house. 15 goes into 22 once. When you subtract that, you get 7. So you put your remainder over what you divided by, meaning you have the whole number 5, and 22 over 15 is the same as 1 7/15. So I'm going to add the whole numbers. 5 plus 1 is 6 and 7/15. Okay, once you get that, let's move on to number 10. Number 10 says 9 1/2 minus 5 3/4. Okay, kind of the same steps as when you're adding. You need to get a common denominator when you're subtracting as well. So what can 2 and 4 both become? 4. 2 times what is 4? 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times what is 4? 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. Now you can't take 3 from 2, so you need to borrow from the whole number. And when you go to borrow, you're going to add 1 as a fraction, and that fraction is the same number over itself. You're going to pick whatever that denominator was. So that then when you go to combine 1 with this fraction that's already here, you keep the denominator the same and add the numerators. 2 plus 4 is 6. Now you have a big enough numerator to take 3 away from. 6 minus 3 is 3. Keep the denominator the same. 8 minus 5 is 3. So you have 3 3/4. If you got that right, congratulations. All right, let's also take a look at problem number 14. Number 14 says 3/8 of 24. Well, when you have a fraction followed by the word of, that means multiplied by 24. And when you have a whole number, you just put it over 1. Now we can go ahead and multiply. You could multiply across 3 times 24, whatever that is, over 8 times 1 is 8, and then reduce it. But why not cross cancel if possible and make it easier? I see that 8 can go into both 8 and 24, and 24 divided by 8 is 3, and 8 divided by 8 is 1. Then when you multiply across, 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 1 is 1. So 9 over 1 is 9. Okay, if you didn't cross cancel, hopefully you can see that it was much easier if you just cross canceled. The last one we're going to go over together is problem 20. Problem 20 says, Hats R Us received a shipment of 60 novelty baseball caps. Of the caps, 1/3 had bug antenna, 2/5 had moose antenna, and the rest had plastic propellers. How many of the caps had plastic propellers? So, first of all, 1/3 had bug antenna. So 1/3 of the total amount, which was 60. This is a multi-step problem, so if you want to try this on your own first and then check, if you get it right, when you check, you should be very proud of yourself. Okay, so hit pause if you want to try it yourself. Okay, so 1/3 of 60. This is going to represent how many of the caps were bug antenna. Well, 3 and 60 can cross cancel by 3. 60 divided by 3 is 20, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 20 is 20. 1 times 1 is 1. So that means there was 20 bug antenna. Moose antlers. You had 2/5 of the novelty caps. There were 60 novelty caps that were moose. Well, 5 and 60 can cross cancel by 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 2 times 12 is 24. 1 times 1 is 1. Which means that there was 24 moose antenna and 20 bug antenna. Okay, what do I do with that information? It says the rest had plastic propellers. Well, there was 60 total, and there's this many bug and this many moose. So let's go ahead and add these together. There was 44 that we know about, and then all the rest, the leftover of the 60, was the plastic. So if we take however many we know there was and subtract that from 60, we'll get how many left over that were plastic propellers, and we get 16. If you got that one right, congratulations. Go ahead and try the rest of these, and when you find your answer, you're going to find it along the side, and you're going to cross off those numbers and then write them down here. So like for problem 11, whatever you got over here, you'd write those 2 letters. Okay. Once you finish, okay, go ahead and check yourself that you got these answers. Okay. If you didn't get these answers and you want to see the work, here is the first page. Okay, so again, go ahead and check yourself. You can hit pause and then follow along on there and see why you missed your certain problems. And then here's the second page. Again, if you got all of these right, congratulations, because there are some pretty tough ones on there. And you now can say that you've mastered adding, subtracting, and multiplying mixed numbers. So until next time.